All right, everybody, and welcome to lesson 3. We're going to be working with exploits here today. All right, what are we going to be going over? We're going to be going over 4 different topics here. We're going to be looking at exploit DB, looking at searchsploit, looking at different scripts here for the Nmap scripting engine, Vulners and Bullscan, and lastly, we're going to be looking at Nicto. Now, what is exploit DB? What this is a web-based exploit database that's maintained by Offensive Security, and this is going to be a huge repository that contains multiple proof of exploits and proof of concepts as well as exploits. And as we see here, the sheer weight of its power shall shatter the spine of our target. Snap, crackle, and snippet it pop. Now, to save an exploit, we can click on the download arrow. This will let us either edit it or save it straight to our downloads folder. I typically don't use this one. It's an extra step if I want to have my exploits organized. Now, our next tool is going to be searchsploit. So, what is this? This is a command line version of exploit DB. This one we can get a lot quicker and more accurate results. With this version, we can save these locally by using the -m switch, which will mirror the path that it finds the exploit in that we're looking at and saves it into our local folder there. This saves time with less typing. Now, if we want, we can look for exploits with searchsploit, and when we find one, we can read the code on exploit DB and try to work with the exploit from our console on the side if we want, just to kind of have a nice little back and forth so we don't have to keep trying to edit the script, but then if we miss something, having to cap the results of the script again and then have to go back to try to exploit it. It just gets troublesome. Or we can use Terminator to go back and forth with that. That's another cool thing also. Now, another awesome sauce trick that we can do with searchsploit is we can feed it results from an Nmap scan as long as it's saved in the XML format, and searchsploit will look at those scan results and then look for matches in searchsploit and print out those results. Makes things a lot faster when we do that by using the searchsploit command and --nmap and the XML file that we're going to be using. So, how else can we search for vulnerabilities or other ways that we can scan without getting our heads blown off, of course? Nice little scanners reference there. We use 2 scripts that we can include into the Nmap scripting engine, Vulners and Bullscan. Now, what Vulners is, it's a database that has its own website, vulners.com, and what this does is when it's running a scan through the NSE, it will look for matching exploits on that site's database and then print out the results. And all of them are going to be in CVE format, where it'll just give you just that CVE number and a link to be able to view it. The next one is Bullscan. This is the same as Vulners, but a little bit different. What this does is it'll pull down exploits from every known vulnerability database that it can find and print out the results in an organized fashion that way. What it'll do, it'll look at things like Security Focus, IBM X-Force, Exploit DB, OpenVOS, Security Tracker, VolDB. Those are just some examples. This gives us a lot more variety. And if we want to look for maybe a pattern, we can save those results with our -OA and then grep certain services and see if we can just get more than one result. Just kind of look for a match or something like that. That helps us streamline the process a little bit from looking at vulnerabilities. So here as I'm saying, it provides a lot more details to aid us in our testing. Lastly, we're going to be looking at Nicto. So, what is it? This is an open source web security scanner. This is different from the other tools, since the other tools go over all defined ports and services. Nicto goes strictly on the web-based ports and services when it's running a scan. Now, a nice way to think of Nicto is like a noisy neighbor that we can't beat up or threaten our bloody wrath against. He's making a lot of noise, but that's its job. So, yeah. What this does is it performs a combination of three things. It performs a service scan on the defined port, or either the default is 80. If there's another one, then we can use like a different port that it may be a web server is hosted on. It'll perform directory busting, so then it'll show results of directories that it finds with its own custom word list. It'll perform a vulnerability scan on all the pages it finds. And again, this is noisy because it's performing these tasks all at the exact same time. Now, how about that demo? Let's see if I can find it. BAM! All right. Search exploit. For this demonstration, we're going to be using a VulnHub machine called Prime1. And what we're going to do is first, let's count out the results of the scan that I ran on this here. And here's what we have. All right. So we ran, Nmap went through all ports, and this is what we have here. Okay. So if I want to look up something that is for Apache, here's what we can do. We can simply go search exploit, Apache, and we have 2.4.18. Let's go ahead and search that. And now this presents the results of everything related to Apache 2.4.18. So what if we want to download ones locally? So we have our exploit title and we have their paths. Now the paths are going to be in the same folder. It's just simply run locate and it will show you the complete path, which is right here. User share exploit db exploits here. Now again, to save it locally, what we do is simply go here, search exploit -m to mirror this exploit here. And just so there's no funny business, the one that we're going to be using is 292.90.c, 292.90.c, okay? And it's nowhere in this current folder. So saying how we grab this and download it locally to our system, over to our folder here, we just go -m, paste that path right there, and it shows copied to the path that we're in, ls. See, we copied it there. Now I can get rid of that. All right. Now, with search exploit, the other cool thing is we can feed the results in an XML format actually, or to another application, but we're not going to do that yet. Next tab, vulners. Here, we are going to download these scripts here for vulners as well as Bullscan, and then place them in the Nmap path. User share Nmap scripts to keep everything in uniform. And as we see, we have it ran a scan from its platform we have port 22, and we have all the results from its own database here with matches to the CVEs of it from what it finds. And here you can just go ahead and right click and then pull up that exploit once it decides to show us ugly face. There we go. Here. And this is going to be a lot of clicking and checking because there's really nothing that is specific as far as what it finds. Now let's look at Bullscan now. Now here's different. Here, this script here will go through each port and show the results that it got from each vulnerability database. So what did it find here? Just these two CVEs. It searched security focus and it found all of these here. Went through IBM X-Force, found all these here. Went through everything from exploit DB, and so on and so on and so on. Then port 80 did the exact same thing, right back from the top and went right down. So went over to Bullscan, which and this is found whatever it found there. Started over at the MITRE, found CVEs there, security focus, and so on down the line. Nikto is our next tool here, and as we see, we have the results that we ran here. Nikto is ran by calling the application -host to specify the host. And if we want to save it to a file, we use -output, and we put file name like so. And that will, of course, run Nikto against this host and save this to a file. So now, going back again to search exploit here, cool little nmap trick there. We have this XML file right here. Okay, so what we do is we enter search exploit --nmap. We specify the file, which is this one, the XML file here. We hit enter, and as we see, it took all the information that it found from the 2 ports that it went through, and it looked for matches all through search exploit in order to find what we could use to exploit this system here. And you see we have everything from OpenSSH and everything that it found from Apache and service version. And that is using exploits. Again, I'm the Ch1-R0n1n, the humble hacker from Chicago. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this. It's to stay updated on future content. And I will see you later.